So welcome to Mindfulness for Business Part 2 from Business Help For You Limited. And this week we're going to be looking at a little bit more about what mindfulness is, but more about how we integrate actual mindfulness activities into our working day and our daily lives. And we'll do a couple of practical exercises during the course of this presentation as well. So mindfulness, just to recap on last week, mindfulness, it's about paying attention. It's about completely focusing on whatever task it is that you have in hand and really using all of your five senses to be absorbed and engrossed in that moment. It's about kindness and compassion and being non-judgmental. So it's allowing things to come and go in our thoughts without getting wrapped up in trying to analyse them or dissect them or make decisions around them. And it's about quietening the monkey mind. It's getting rid of those distracting thoughts. It's also about enabling us to savour each and every moment as it happens without being distracted by the past or the future. So in the last session, we talked a lot about what mindfulness is and isn't, and its benefits for individuals and businesses. And you had a copy of the body scan meditation to do, so I hope you were able to fit that in at least on the majority of days during the week. And it would be very valuable to me if you could give me some feedback by email as to how you've been getting on with the exercises, any difficulties you've been having, any benefits that you've already established. And going forward, that would be very valuable. So mindfulness and what are mindfulness activities? We can do mindful breathing, and we'll come on and I will talk you through some mindful breathing exercises. Now, this is a really valuable way of changing state. So whenever you're anxious or angry, or if you have an important meeting or an interview or something, by focusing on your breath, you can actually completely calm yourself down and change your state of mind to be much more focused on what the task is in hand. So it's a very valuable tool, and it literally only takes a couple of minutes. You can sit and don't even need to close your eyes, so you can do it even when other people are around you. Just concentrate on your breathing and you'll find that will really help to calm you down and centre you. So what physical activities are there? Well, any activity that completely absorbs you, particularly if it's movement activities such as yoga and Tai Chi. When you're doing physical mindful activities, your focus is so intense on what you're doing that you actually can't think about anything else. And that is a true mindful activity. Something like sailing, if your whole being is focused upon, tweaking the rigging and getting the sails up, that would be a mindful activity. It can be something like walking, but if you're out in nature, it's not about walking and thinking about what's going on in the rest of your world. It's about paying attention with all of your senses to where you are, what you can smell, what you can touch, what you can see, what you can hear, the sense of the sun on you or the breeze, the vegetation around you. It's using every single sense to be in that walking activity, rather than that activity is just a sideline to what's going on in your head. I hope that makes sense. Now, mindful eating, we're going to do the raisin exercise in a few minutes so that you can have a feel for what mindful eating is all about and how you can practice mindful eating with every meal you eat. And then there are other mindful activities such as, it can be anything that you do on a daily basis. You can be done in a mindful way. It just means focusing on that task and not allowing yourself to be distracted by your thoughts. So, for instance, a couple that I tend to use are when I'm having a shower. It's very easy for your thoughts to be going around what you've got to do for the rest of the day. If you're having a mindful shower, you're thinking about the sensation of the water on your skin, the temperature of the water, what noises you can hear, any physical sensations in your body, what each part of your body feels like as you wash it, what the sensation is of the soap or the shampoo that you're using on your skin, how the towel feels when you wrap it around your body, the chills on the back of your neck if your hair's still wet. It's all of those sensations. So that might be something you would like to try this week coming. So we're going to do an example of mindful breathing. So ideally, if you can find a place just to sit and relax, sitting upright is perfect, but you can lay down. If you can make sure that your phone's switched off or you're not going to be disturbed, this is only for 2 or 3 minutes. So you might actually want to pause this and go away and sort stuff out. And as I put in the email, I will send a mindful breathing exercise out separately, but this is just the example that we're going to do for this exercise today. So just get yourselves comfortable, and if you're in a straight backed chair, your feet should be firmly planted on the ground, your hands upon your knees or thighs, and your back and neck straight. And just allow the weight of your body to settle so that your spine is erect and your head is balanced on the top of your spine. And just allow your eyes to close. You can keep your eyes open, but if your eyes close, it will prevent additional distractions. And then just allow your breath to be as natural as possible. And just take your attention to that breath. Notice the breath as it goes in and the breath as it goes out. Does the air feel different on the way in to how it feels on the way out? And just notice where you feel that flow of breath as it goes in. Can you feel it at the back of your throat? Can you sense it moving into your chest? Does your chest move up and down with the breath in and the breath out? As you focus on your breathing, it may change just because you're focusing on it. But that's fine. And if your mind wanders, as is the nature of the mind, just gently bring it back to focusing on your breath. Your breath as it goes in, and your breath as it goes out. And how deep does that breath go when you draw it in? You can sense the rise and fall of your chest. What about your rib cage and diaphragm? Can you sense how your rib cage expands as your breath goes in and contracts as your breath goes out? And where does your breath go to in your body? Does it go all the way down to your belly? As your belly expands as you breathe in and contracts as you breathe out. And just allow that breath in and out, and have the sensation that it's bringing life-giving oxygen into your body and nourishing all of your cells. And now we're just going to focus on counting the breath. So I want you to breathe in and count to 2 on the in-breath. And then as you breathe out, count to 2 on the out-breath. So breathe in and breathe out. 1, 2. In, 1, 2. Out, 1, 2. In, 1, 2. Out, 1, 2. And just continue to do that for a few moments. You may hear noises in the background. You may hear the sound of your own breathing. And as your mind wanders, as it surely will, just gently acknowledge that. Acknowledge the thought, but let the thought go. And bring your attention back to your breath as it goes in and out. Just counting that breath. And then just gently bring your attention back to your body, your physical being, where you are in the room. Get a sensation of your fingers and toes. Begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And bring yourself back into your full consciousness, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Now that's an exercise, as you can see, you can do any time. You don't need to have it guided. You can just focus your attention on your breath. It's a great way to start the day. It's a great way to start work. And I find if I'm very stretched with lots of juggling priorities, if I just take a few minutes out just to do a similar exercise and focus on my breathing, I find it's much easier to decide on what my next steps are. It almost happens automatically, intuitively. Right, so the next exercise that we're going to do is the raising exercise, and I've actually put the raising exercise, and it should be the raise-in exercise, so forgive me for that. But whether you have a raisin or a sultana or a piece of chocolate, what I'd like you to do again, so as you're not disturbed, is this will only take a couple of minutes also. But this is an example of how to really focus on an activity such as eating or drinking in a mindful manner. So we're going to start by placing the raisin or sultana or piece of chocolate or whatever it is that you have in the palm of your hand. And first of all, I just want you to close your eyes and see if you can sense where that item is. I'm going to refer to it as a raisin, but whatever it is that works for you. Can you actually feel it in the palm of your hand with your eyes closed? Can you feel where it's in contact with the skin? And then when you open your eyes again, have a look at it, where it's laying in the palm of your hand. What is the shape like? Is it symmetrical? Is it fatter at one end than the other? Turn it over. Have a look, roll it around. See if it's the same on each side or if it varies in shape. What colour is it? Is it all one colour? Or does it vary in colour? Are there light parts and dark parts? Is there shade and light? Is there texture to it just from looking at it? Are there parts of it where the light reflects off of it? Are there shiny parts of it? And then hold it up between your fingers and hold it up to the light and see if it looks different against the light. Is it a uniform colour? Or does it vary as you turn it around in your fingers? Can you see the ridges more easily when you hold it up to the light? And how does it feel between your fingers? Is it soft? Is it hard? Can you feel the texture very gently with your fingertips? Can you feel the texture of the skin or the outer surface? Is it smooth? Is it ridged? Is it sticky? What can you feel? Is it room temperature? And then very gently, just squeeze the sultana or raisin or your item. Just squeeze it very gently between your fingers. And what does it feel like? Is it soft? Is it hard? Roll it round between your finger and your thumb. What happens to it? Hold it up to your ear. Is there any noise as you roll it between your finger and your thumb? Is there any sound from it? What's the sensation inside? Does it move beneath your fingers or is it solid? And then just hold it up to your nose and see what you can smell. Does that smell invoke any emotions or memories or thoughts? Just focus on that scent, if you sense any. And then just place it gently between your lips. And roll it gently between your lips. And sense whatever it is that you can feel between your lips. Is it soft? Is it hard? Can you feel the little ridges? Or is it all smooth? Then taking it back into your fingers, just bite the very tip of the end and see what sensations that sends into your mouth and whether the flavour is different at the front of your tongue to the back of your mouth, and just allow that to sit on your tongue. Put the whole raisin into your mouth and just roll it around your tongue. Notice what sensations you get from your tongue. Sensations of texture, sensations of flavour, even scent. And then just gently suck the raisin and sultana. And then gently put your teeth through it and see what flavours get released, what sensations. And very slowly, gradually chew it. And make a note. Does it taste different on the outside to the inside? Is it sweet or sour? Does it make your saliva run? Just gradually chew it and chew it and chew it until you're ready to swallow it. And then notice the sensations and the flavours as it moves to the back of your throat and is swallowed. So for this week, for your mindful activities, you can practice mindful breathing. Try and take a couple of minutes every day just to practice some mindful breathing. It's an incredibly useful way of getting to sleep. If you can't sleep, and one of the ways I found it most valuable for getting to sleep is you start by counting in 1, 2 and out 1, 2. But then if you start counting in to 4 and out for 4, and then in for 4 and out for 6, and what you're trying to do is make your in-breath last as long as possible, but you want to try and get your out-breath to be twice as long as your in-breath. And what you'll find is you're focusing so intently on thinking about that breathing that you will actually fall asleep. So practice mindful breathing during the course of this week and find one daily activity that you can do in a mindful manner. Now, I find ideally that is probably a meal where you can maybe take yourself away from your desk, maybe even take yourself off to a park bench, or at breakfast, rather than sitting watching the television or thinking about the day ahead of you. Take time to focus on your breakfast or that meal with every sensation, the temperature, the smell, the textures, the colours, how it looks, how it's presented, what you're eating it from, the sensation in your mouth as you chew, the flavours and sensations as you swallow. And just focus on really exploring every single facet of that meal that you can. Now, if meals are difficult, I think meals are easiest because we all know we're going to eat at least once during the day. But if you're entertaining or something, then maybe you might want to make it that you have a shower in a mindful manner. And in fact, the more mindful activities you can incorporate into the day, the faster you'll benefit from this whole programme. Because ideally, every minute of our day should be spent in a mindful way. And that's the way that we find life begins to flow for us. So I look forward to sending you the next part. And in the meantime, please email us back to let us know how you're getting on. If you have any queries, we'd love to hear from you. So till next time, take care.